All right, let's talk about what's coming. We're heading into that glorious time of year where your calendar explodes with Halloween office parties, Thanksgiving feasts, holiday gatherings, New Year celebrations, and every excuse to eat, drink, and be merry packed into 3 months of pure chaos. You have been crushing it all year, and now you're standing at a crossroads. Do you become the person who brings meal prep containers to Christmas dinner and makes everyone uncomfortable? Or do you say screw it and show up to New Year's Eve 15 pounds heavier, wondering what the hell happened? Here's the good news. Neither of those extremes is necessary, and frankly, both of them suck. You can absolutely enjoy the holidays, eat your grandmother's famous pie, have drinks with your friends, and still maintain the progress you've worked your ass off for all year. Because the key isn't deprivation, it's being smart about where you go all in and where you show a little restraint. So today I'm going to be giving you the exact playbook to have fun, enjoy the season, and wake up on January 1st feeling good instead of feeling like you need to repent for 3 months of dietary sins. Welcome back to Straight Talk with Abby, the audio series where I give some tough love and a no-nonsense approach to leveling up after 40. I'm your host, Abby, also known as Your Fitness Chick, and I am passionate about helping you to get out of your own way and become your best self. Let's get into it. So why the holiday season doesn't have to destroy your progress. Let's be real about what makes the holiday season such a minefield for fitness progress, because understanding the game is the first step to winning it. We're not talking about 1 or 2 special meals here. We're talking about a relentless parade of food and drink opportunities that start with Halloween candy and doesn't end until you're making New Year's resolutions while nursing a hangover. The problem isn't that these events exist or that you want to participate in them. The problem is that most people approach this season with absolutely zero strategy, which means they either white knuckle their way through being miserable or they completely abandon ship and gain 15 pounds. Here's what actually happens to most people between October and January. You've got Halloween parties where you accidentally eat half the candy bowl. Oops. And then there's Friendsgiving, regular Thanksgiving, your company's holiday party, the neighborhood cookie exchange, client dinners if you're in sales, your kids' school parties, Christmas Eve with one side of the family, Christmas Day with the other side, and New Year's Eve where everyone acts like it's their last meal on earth before they start their diet. That's not even counting the random Tuesday when someone brings donuts to the office or the Thursday when your team decides to do happy hour. When you add it all up, you're looking at 15 to 20 high-calorie events over about 10 weeks. And if you go hard at every single one, the math, it's brutal. A typical holiday party with appetizers, drinks, dinner, and dessert can easily be 2,000 to 3,000 calories. Do that twice a week for about 8 weeks, and you're looking at 32,000 to 48,000 extra calories on top of your normal eating. That's a 9 to 14 pounds of fat gain, which tracks perfectly with what most people experience. But here's the thing that the fitness industry doesn't want you to know, because it would kill their entire New Year's resolution business model, is that you can actually enjoy this season, participate in the celebrations that matter, eat the foods you love, but still maintain your progress. Because the secret isn't willpower or deprivation, it's being strategic about which events actually deserve your full participation and which ones are just random Tuesday donuts that you don't even care about. Most people treat every food opportunity as equally important, which is insane. Your grandmother's Thanksgiving turkey that she makes once a year is not the same as the grocery store cookies that someone brought to the office meeting. One deserves your attention and enjoyment. The other deserves to be ignored. The cultural pressure during the holidays to indulge constantly is real, and it's designed to make you feel like being disciplined somehow means you're not enjoying life or you're missing out. Every commercial, every social media post, every conversation seems designed to convince you that calories don't count during the holidays and that you should just live a little and worry about it in January. This messaging is incredibly powerful because it taps into our desire to fit in, to not be the weird one, and to participate fully in celebrations. But here's the deal. You can participate fully in the ones that matter without participating in every freaking single food opportunity that crosses your path. Going hard at Thanksgiving dinner with your family? Absolutely. That's what the day is about. Eating 3 stale cookies at an office party you didn't even want to attend? That's not celebration. That's just mindless consumption. The stress and the chaos of the season compounds everything because you're not just dealing with more food opportunities, you're dealing with year-end work deadlines, holiday shopping pressure, family dynamics, financial stress, and the general overwhelm of just trying to do too many freaking things at one time. When you're stressed and overwhelmed, your food decisions become emotional rather than strategic. You're not having the third glass of wine because it tastes amazing. You're having it because you're stressed the hell out about getting everything done, and alcohol provides temporary relief. So here's the mindset shift that will help you to change everything. The holiday season is not a hall pass to abandon everything you've built all year. It's also not a test of your willpower where you have to prove how disciplined you can be by avoiding all the fun. It's simply a period where you have more social events than normal and you need a framework for navigating them strategically. Okay. So some are going to get your full participation and some are going to get some moderate participation with some boundaries. And some just don't even deserve any attention at all. So let's build your actual game plan for navigating the holiday season without losing your mind. This framework is built on one core principle, and that is you should enjoy your life, including the holiday season. And sustainable fitness is about making smart choices most of the time, not perfect choices all the time. Let me repeat that. Sustainable fitness is about making smart choices most of the time, not perfect choices all the time. The people who maintain great physiques year-round aren't the ones who never eat pie, because trust me, I'm going to be eating some pie. I freaking love pie. But the people who maintain their great physiques all year are also the ones who know when the pie is worth it and when it's not. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out your calendar right now and map out every single social event that you know about thus far. Every single one that you've got going on that are usual between New Year's and current time. Okay. So every office party, every family gathering, every friend dinner, every happy hour, get it all down on paper so you can see exactly what you're dealing with. This visual representation is crucial because most people underestimate how many events that they actually have, which is why they usually feel blindsided by the cumulative effect. Now, once you've got the full picture, you're going to sort these events into 3 categories. And this is going to be where the magic happens because, like I said, not every event deserves the same approach. So the first category is the VIP events. These are the truly special once-a-year occasions that involve the people that you genuinely care about and foods or experiences that are actually meaningful to you. Thanksgiving dinner with your family, where your aunt makes that incredible stuffing you think about all year, or Christmas Eve with your closest friends, where you exchange gifts and share traditions. Your company's annual holiday party, where being present and social matters for your career and relationships. And also maybe there's a special restaurant dinner you do every year with your spouse or a cookie decorating tradition with your kids. These category 1 events get full participation. You enjoy yourself. You don't stress about the calories. You eat what you want and you have a great time. No guilt, no tracking, no measuring, No weird behavior that makes people uncomfortable. You're fully present, fully engaged, and fully enjoying the experience. We're talking about maybe only 4 to 6 events total over the entire 3-month period that actually deserve this level of flexibility. That's it, not 20, 4 to 6. Then we're going to have category 2, which are enjoyable but not particularly special occasions, like your coworkers' casual holiday get together where there'll be snacks and drinks, but nothing that you can't get any other time of the year. Or the neighborhood party where you'll chat with people you see occasionally but aren't close with. Maybe a regular dinner out with friends that happens to fall during the holiday season but isn't specifically a holiday celebration. These events are fine and you'll participate, but they don't require going all out. You'll have a drink or 2 instead of 4. You'll enjoy some of the food, but you're not loading your plate 3 times. And you'll make reasonably smart choices without being weird or antisocial about it. Think of it as participating normally, but not treating it like a special occasion that requires maximum indulgence. These might happen once or twice a week during peak holiday season, and your approach is basically enjoy yourself, but keep reasonable boundaries. Category 3 events are the ones that are pure obligatory or that you don't even particularly care about, like the office meeting where someone brought grocery store cookies that you could buy any day of the week. The client networking event where you're mainly there just for professional reasons and the food is mediocre buffet fare anyway. The party thrown by acquaintances where you're going purely out of social obligation and you'd rather be home. Or the standing meeting where someone always brings donuts, but they're the same donuts from the same place every week. These events don't deserve any nutritional flexibility at all. And honestly, you should question whether some of them are even worth attending in the first place. Your time and energy are valuable, especially during this busy season. If an event doesn't serve a real purpose in your life and doesn't bring you genuine enjoyment, maybe it's okay to politely decline and use that time for something that actually matters to you. Here's where this gets practical and powerful. Once you've categorized your events, you'll probably realize that out of the 15 to 20 total events on your calendar, only about 4 to 6 are actually worth it. That means you're going to be strategic and controlled at the vast majority of events, which protects your overall progress and prevents that massive calorie surplus while still fully enjoying the occasions that actually matter to you and create meaningful memories. This is the complete opposite of what most people do, which is to treat every event exactly the same and going hard at all of them and then wondering why they gained 15 pounds from eating things they didn't even particularly enjoy or remember. So let's talk about the tactical strategies that work across all different categories. And this is the protein first strategy is going to be your secret weapon through all of this because it's going to keep you satisfied. It preserves your muscle mass. It supports your metabolism and prevents the blood sugar roller coaster that leads to terrible decisions and overeating. At every single event, regardless of which category it falls into, you're asking yourself, where's my protein? And making sure you get a solid portion before you touch anything else. At Thanksgiving, you load up on turkey first. Get a generous portion of that because this is your protein anchor for the entire meal. At cocktail parties, you make a beeline for the shrimp, the meatballs, the chicken skewers, the meat and cheese board before you even think about touching the chips, crackers, and desserts. At restaurants, you order a protein-focused main dish and then build everything else around it. When you consistently hit your protein targets at every meal and event, even if everything else is imperfect and your overall calories are higher than normal, you'll maintain way better body composition than if you're just eating whatever's available without any thought to macronutrients. Plus, protein is incredibly satiating, which means when you eat it first and eat enough of it, You're actually satisfied and less likely to mindlessly graze on appetizers or overdo it on desserts because you're not genuinely hungry anymore. You're eating for enjoyment at that point, which is fine, but you're doing it from a place of control rather than from hunger driven compulsion. Now let's talk about alcohol because this is honestly where people rack up the most massive calorie bombs without even realizing the impact. A typical holiday party might involve pre dinner cocktails while you're mingling, wine with dinner, and maybe after dinner drinks or champagne for toasts. That progression can easily be 800 to 1200 calories just from alcohol alone before you even factor in how drinking lowers your inhibitions and decision making around food choices and how it disrupts your sleep quality and recovery and how it literally stops your body's fat burning processes while your liver prioritizes metabolizing the alcohol. The strategy here is simple, but requires some planning. You set your limits before you walk in the door based on your event category. So the category 1 events where you're fully enjoying yourself, you might allow for 2 to 3 drinks enjoyed slowly over the course of the entire evening. Category 2 events are 1 to 2 drinks maximum, and you stick to that limit even if people are pushing you to have more, because trust me, they will. And category 3 events, you're sticking with sparkling water or maybe just 1 drink just to have something in your hand for social reasons. But that's it. Choose your drink strategically based on calorie density and how they make you feel. Spirits with soda water and lime give you the social experience of having a drink for about 100 calories with no sugar. Dry wine is around 120 to 150 calories per glass. Light beer is similar. Compare that to those festive holiday cocktails that pack 400 to 500 calories each because they're loaded with sugar, cream, liqueurs, and fancy garnishes. They taste like dessert because they basically are dessert. And one of those cocktails can blow your entire calorie buffer for the evening. Alternate every alcoholic drink with a full glass of water. Now, this isn't just about hydration, though that is important. It slows your drinking pace, which prevents you from getting too buzzed too fast and then making decisions you'll regret. It helps you feel fuller, which reduces mindless eating. And it gives you something to hold on to and sip so you're not standing there empty-handed feeling awkward, which often leads to grabbing another drink just to have something to do with your hands. The day after protocol is absolutely crucial because this is what separates people who maintain their progress from people who spiral. What you do the morning after an indulgent event determines whether that event was an isolated occasion that had zero long-term impact or whether it becomes the first domino in a 6 weeks collapse. The single biggest mistake people make is trying to compensate for overindulgence by restricting the next day. I ate too much last night, so I'm just going to have coffee for breakfast and a salad for lunch to make up for it. Well, this seems logical, but it's actually the exact wrong approach because it reinforces the binge restrict cycle that keeps you stuck. You overeat. You feel guilty, you restrict to compensate. The restriction makes you feel deprived and increases cravings, which makes you more likely to overeat at the next event. And the cycle continues. Instead, you wake up the morning after an indulgent event, drink a bunch of water to help with any water retention from high sodium foods and alcohol, and then you eat your completely normal breakfast with plenty of protein. Not a tiny breakfast, not a punishment breakfast, your normal breakfast. You continue with regular eating pattern throughout the day, hitting your protein targets just like you always do. You get back to your normal workout routine without trying to punish yourself with extra cardio or additional training because you think you're burning off what you ate. And you treat the previous night as a completely closed chapter that you're not dwelling on or trying to make up for. One night of overindulgence, even significant overindulgence, has virtually zero impact on your body composition if you get right back to your normal routine the very next day. Your body does not store fat from a single meal or even a single day of overeating. It's only when one night turns into 1 week or 1 week turns into 1 month that you start seeing real changes in your physique. The damage comes from the pattern, not from the isolated event. So let's get tactical about specific scenarios that you're guaranteed to face during this holiday season and exactly how I suggest that you handle them without being a weirdo and without destroying your progress and without missing out on just being happy and enjoying yourself. So Thanksgiving, we're going to go all in because it's its own strategy. It's the single meal where people completely blow their progress more so than any other day of the entire year. And the traditional approach that most people take is showing up absolutely starving because they want to save room for the big meal. They skip breakfast, they maybe have a tiny lunch, and they arrive at Thanksgiving dinner with zero blood sugar stability and zero decision-making capacity. This is setting yourself up for a complete disaster because you're going to load your plate with massive portions of absolutely everything and eat until you're uncomfortably stuffed to the point of pain, and then continue grazing on leftovers and pie all evening because the food is just sitting there. Instead, here's your play. You eat your completely normal breakfast with good protein to stabilize your blood sugar. You eat a reasonable lunch, again, with protein, so you're not arriving at dinner ravenous. When you sit down for the actual Thanksgiving meal, you start by loading your plate primarily with turkey, get a generous, satisfying portion. Then you add reasonable portions of your actual favorite sides, not a little bit of everything just because it's there. If your aunt's green bean casserole is legendary and you genuinely look forward to it all year, absolutely put a good portion on your plate and enjoy every single bite. If the cranberry sauce is just there and you don't particularly care about it or could take it or leave it, just skip it entirely. You don't need to eat something just because it's on the table. Choose the 2 or 3 sides you genuinely love and skip everything else. Eat at a normal pace. Engage in the conversation with your family and actually taste and enjoy your food instead of shoveling it in mindlessly. Stop eating when you're satisfied and comfortable, not when you're so full you need to unbutton your pants and lie on the couch groaning. When dessert time comes, choose the one pie that you actually love most. If pumpkin pie is your thing and you look forward to it every year, have a normal size slice and savor it. Don't feel like you need to sample all 4 different pies just because they're available. One pie you love beats 4 pies you're just eating because they're there. The whole meal done this way can easily be a very reasonable 2,000 to 2,500 calories, which is totally manageable and will have zero negative impact on your progress. Compare that to 4,000 to 5,000 calories that happens when you approach Thanksgiving like a competitive eating contest, and you can see how this strategic approach makes all the difference. Now, at office holiday parties, you're going to have somewhat of a challenge because you're trying to be professional, social, and present while simultaneously managing unlimited free food and alcohol in an environment where people are watching and judging your choices. The play here is to set your hard limits before you even walk in the door. 2 drinks, that's it. 1 plate of appetizers, and you're done. Not, I'll see how I feel, or I'll try to be good. Actual hard limits that you commit to ahead of time. When you arrive, position yourself strategically in the conversation areas and networking spaces rather than camping out by the food table, because proximity absolutely drives consumption. If you're standing next to appetizers making small talk, you're going to mindlessly eat them. If you're across the room focused on conversations, you're not thinking about food. Hold a drink in your hand, even if it's just sparkling water with a lime that looks like you're socializing and having some cocktails. just so people aren't constantly approaching you and asking if they can get you a drink or pressuring you into having another one. Once you've had your 2 drinks, switch to water or soda for the rest of the night. Focus your attention and energy on the actual point of being there, which is the networking, the relationship building, the conversations with colleagues and clients, not on maximizing your consumption of mediocre catered food that you could eat at any time. When people comment on your choices or try to pressure you, because they're going to, trust me, they will, just keep your responses simple, light, and breezy. I'm good, thanks. Or I'm pacing myself tonight, or I've got an early morning tomorrow. You don't owe anyone a detailed explanation of your choices. And most people are honestly too focused on themselves and their own experience to even give a shit what you're doing unless you make it a big dramatic production. At family gatherings, there's gonna be some challenges because relatives can take food personally in ways that strangers or coworkers never would. When your grandmother insists that you try her famous dessert that she made, especially for the family, or your parents pressure you to have another helping of something because there's so much left and they don't want it to go to waste, they're coming from a place of love and tradition and connection, but it still creates real pressure that's difficult to navigate. The key is having simple, gracious, positive responses ready that acknowledge their effort and show appreciation without requiring you to overeat to prove that you love them. It's absolutely delicious. I'm just pacing myself because I want to save room to enjoy everything, or this is so good, I'm definitely going to have some tomorrow too. It shows that you appreciate what they made without committing to eating a massive portion right now. Take a small or moderate portion of the dishes made by people who are important to you, genuinely enjoy them, and tell them sincerely how good it is. And then don't make any kind of production or draw any attention to the things you're choosing not to eat. The less you talk about your food choices and the less you make them the topic of conversation, the less attention and pressure they generate. Just quietly make the choices that work for you without announcing them or defending them. The random weeknight events are honestly where a lot of people's strategies completely fall apart because individually, these events don't seem important enough or even significant enough to warrant special discipline or planning. But they add up incredibly fast when you've got 2 or 3 of them happening every single week for a few months straight. Your coworker wants to grab drinks after work on Tuesday. Your friend group decides to meet up for dinner on Thursday. Someone's having a casual get-together on Saturday afternoon. None of these individually seem like a big deal, but when they're happening multiple times per week throughout the entire holiday season, they absolutely can wreck your progress if you're going hard on all of them. So this is where you need to be really honest with yourself about what you actually want to attend versus what you're doing purely out of obligation or FOMO. It is completely acceptable and even healthy to say, I can't make it tonight, or I'm going to sit this one out to events that aren't particularly important to you or meaningful. You don't have to attend everything. And just because the invitation exists doesn't mean you have to go. For the events that you do genuinely want to attend, keep your approach simple and consistent like I've been saying all along. Make protein the focus of all your food choices, have 1 or 2 drinks, and don't let a casual Tuesday dinner somehow turn into a 4-hour food and drink marathon just because you're having a good time. Enjoy the social connection, which is the actual value of being there, without using it as an excuse to completely abandon all structure. The food gifts situation is something that catches a lot of people off guard because they don't have a plan for handling it. During the holidays, clients, coworkers, neighbors, and friends will constantly show up with tins of cookies, boxes of candy, homemade baked goods, and other treats as gestures of appreciation and holiday cheer. Now, these gifts are well-intentioned and kind, but if you don't have a strategy for dealing with them, you're going to end up with a house full of trigger foods that you weren't planning for and didn't budget into your nutrition strategy. So when someone gives you food gifts, accept them graciously and thank them sincerely for thinking of you. Then as soon as they leave or as soon as you get home, immediately decide what's going to happen to these items. You can bring them to your office the next day and leave them in the break room where they'll disappear in minutes. You can give them to neighbors who have kids who will be thrilled. You can donate them to a local shelter or food bank. Or if none of those options are practical or available, and I know this is going to sound harsh, you can literally just throw them away. I know that sounds awful. It feels wasteful and it goes against everything you were taught about not wasting food. But here's the reality. The food going into the trash is objectively better than the food going into your body when you don't actually want it there and it's working against your goals. You are not a garbage disposal for unwanted food. You're not being ungrateful or disrespectful by removing temptation from your environment. You're being smart and protecting the progress you've worked for all year. And finally, New Year's Eve. This is where people treat it like the final blowout, the last hurrah before everyone gets serious about their diet and fitness in January. And this cultural mindset is exactly what sets everyone up for the classic New Year's resolution cycle. Instead of treating New Year's Eve like your last meal before a prison sentence of deprivation starts, treat it like you would any other Category 1 event. Enjoy yourself. Celebrate with the people you care about, have some drinks and good food, but stay within reasonable boundaries that you've set for yourself ahead of time. The practical difference between having a great New Year's Eve that you remember fondly and waking up on January 1st feeling like absolute death and hating yourself is usually about 2 or 3 drinks and one additional round of late night food that you didn't even really want or enjoy. Enjoy the celebration, toast the new year with your friends, have fun, but don't use it as permission to completely lose your mind and wake up feeling terrible. So while we've been talking primarily about food, social events, and navigation strategies, your training consistency through the holiday chaos is actually what holds your entire framework together and prevents everything from falling apart. Your workouts during this period are what preserve your muscle mass and keep your metabolic rate elevated, create insulin sensitivity that helps your body handle the extra carbohydrates you're eating. And most importantly, from a psychological standpoint, keep you connected to your identity and goals, even when everything else in your life feels chaotic and out of control. The single biggest mistake people make during the holiday season is letting their training consistency slide because their schedule gets crazy. They're traveling, they have family obligations, or they're just too busy and stressed to prioritize it. And then what happens is they're dealing with both worse nutrition from all the social events and zero training stimulus, which is an absolute recipe for gaining pure body fat with no muscle retention whatsoever. Even when you're traveling for the holidays, even when your regular gym is closed, even when you've got family staying at your house and your entire routine is disrupted, even when you're legitimately busy and stressed with everything you need to accomplish, you need to maintain some version of your training routine. Now, this might look different than your normal schedule. Maybe it's working out at 5:30 in the morning before the chaos of the day starts. Maybe it's doing shorter, more focused 30-minute sessions instead of your usual hour-long workouts. Maybe it's training on non-traditional days that fit your holiday schedule better. Maybe it's just body weight workouts in a hotel room when you're traveling. The point is that 4 solid 30-minute workouts spread throughout the week are infinitely better than 0 workouts just because you couldn't maintain your perfect normal routine. Don't let "I can't do it perfectly" become the excuse for not doing it at all. When you have limited time or limited access to equipment, focus your training time exclusively on the big compound movements that give you the absolute most return on your investment. Squats, deadlifts, presses, rows, and carries. These movements work multiple muscle groups simultaneously, create significant metabolic demand, preserve the most muscle mass, and maintain your strength base. Skip all the isolation exercises and accessory work if your time is tight. You can add those back in January when your schedule normalizes. The goal during the holiday season isn't to set personal records or make dramatic improvements in your physique. The goal is to maintain your foundation, preserve your muscle mass and strength, and stay consistent with the habit and identity of being someone who trains regardless of circumstances. This way, when January rolls around and your schedule returns to normal, you're continuing from where you left off rather than starting completely over from scratch after taking a few months completely off. The psychological and identity benefit of maintaining your strength training through the holidays is honestly almost more valuable than the physical benefit. Every single workout that you complete during this chaotic period reinforces your identity as someone who prioritizes their fitness and follows through on commitments even when it's inconvenient. Every party you successfully navigate builds your confidence that you can handle challenging social situations without completely derailing. Every strategic food choice you make strengthens your decision-making capacity and proves to yourself that you're in control. You're not just maintaining your physique during these few months, you're building psychological resilience, practicing discipline in challenging circumstances, and proving that your commitment to fitness isn't conditional on having perfect circumstances or an easy schedule, because nobody has that. That's the foundation that separates people who transform their bodies and health permanently from people who yo-yo back and forth every year. Look, here's what I want you to really understand. The holiday season, it's not your enemy, and you're not weak if you want to actually enjoy it. The fitness industry has conditioned you to believe that transformation requires suffering and that you need to choose between having a life and having a body you're proud of, and that enjoying yourself during the holiday means you've failed. That's complete bullshit, and it's designed to keep you on the hamster wheel of New Year's resolutions that makes some of those fitness trainers tons of money. But you can have both. You can wake up on January 1st ahead of where you are right now, not just maintaining, but actually ahead, because you spent these next few months building the skill of navigating challenging situations without abandoning your goals. That's a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life, not just during the holidays. The people who successfully transform their bodies and keep them transformed aren't the ones who have perfect discipline every day of the year. They're the ones who know how to enjoy the moments that matter while protecting the progress they've built. They're strategic, not rigid. They're flexible, not reckless. And they understand that one amazing Thanksgiving dinner with people they love has zero impact on their long-term physique, but a few months of mindless consumption at events they don't even care about will set them back months. So do your calendar audit, be honest about what actually matters versus what's just noise, make your plan, and then execute it with confidence, knowing that you're not depriving yourself of anything important. You're just being intentional about where you invest your flexibility. You've got this. And if you need help along the way, drop the questions in the comments or visit www.yourfitnesschick.com to check out my programs. Enjoy the holiday season and celebrate the person you're becoming. I'm here to cheer you every step of the way. Thanks for listening to Straight Talk with Abby. If this episode hit you where you needed it, here's what I want you to do. First, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Transformation is contagious, and you never know who's waiting for exactly this message. Second, if you're ready to stop starting over and start becoming the unstoppable version of yourself, I've got something for you. My audiobook, Your Breakthrough Era, Unstoppable Starts Here, is now available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. It's the deeper dive into everything we talk about here. And if you're ready to go all in on your fitness transformation, check out my program, Unstoppable 2.0, my 12-week program that combines fitness, mindset, and identity work to help you become who you're meant to be. You can find all the details at yourfitnesscheck.com. Remember, your breakthrough era doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you decide you're ready. I'll see you next time for more Straight Talk. Until then, keep breaking through.